Welcome back. Five4Five Films is a media arts program empowering students in underserved communities to create original short films. Through the program, students learn key aspects of filmmaking, including writing, acting, directing, and editing. Joining us now is the co-founders of Five4Five Films, Raff and Jordan Battiste, and their students, Zaiel Aguero and Ayana Sheppard. Thank you all so much for joining me.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Now, can you tell us a little bit more about the origin and the mission of Five4Five Films?
Sure. We started, Jordan and I are content creators, songwriters, and filmmakers, and we volunteered one year in a school in the Bronx and brought an after-school program to some students, and we started creating short films with them, and they really took to it. This was a couple years ago, and so we pivoted our careers and just focused solely on building this entity, and we now operate in 10 schools across the Bronx, Manhattan, and Brooklyn. And the essence is creating short films, but it's really giving our students an experience of doing something they haven't done, and also teamwork and those kind of character building traits that emerged sort of unintentionally from our first effort at doing this.
Now, this is really cool, and it's something that I wish I had when I was in school. Can you just talk about the importance of focusing on underserved communities?
Yes, it is incredibly important. I mean, so many young people are not busy, and that's the issue. They've got everything else to do. They've got all the time in the world to hang out and get into trouble, and they're idle. And it's programs like this that are really important for young people to keep them occupied, to engage in them. And I mean, I just feel like so many young people, especially in New York, are really creative young people, because you have to grow up really quick in New York, and you have all these ideas, and there's no place to focus that energy and put it someplace that's productive. And I think that's why the program is so important.
Now, what are some of the skills that benefit the students beyond just filmmaking? Because I think anytime a program could teach a student about, maybe the mission at hand, but also add something more, is always amazing. So, what are some other skills or things that they, can gain from being a part of this program?
An example that comes to mind is we had our students do a writing assignment about something that, a time that they overcame fear or adversity as a way to trigger their imaginations and get a story out of them. And one of our students happened to write about her experience just 3 weeks prior of being in one of our films. That was the thing to her that was a notion and an instance of overcoming adversity. And we've had students that have gone on to pursue filmmaking at the collegiate level. We have one of our first students from our first program actually is on our staff now, helping run classes. So there have been different ways where we've seen the impact.
Now, I'm curious to know, what is the process students go through when creating their own short films in the program? And, feel free to jump in and talk about, what that process was like for you as well.
So Raff and I have, I'd say, like a bunch of different prompts that we use to get the wheels in motion, and that's what they do. They create stories in 15 minutes or so. We pluck the best one out of a hat, or sometimes we vote on the best one, and then we figure out the story, A to B. We jump right into production, and that's how it basically happens.
And then can you talk about your experience being a part of the program?
Well, a lot of it when we were doing it was mostly making up something, putting a creative twist on an idea that was given to us. We've had a lot of stories from when they started working with us, and there's been I feel like it's a very creative process. It helps you really get out there and really just be able to put yourself in a movie.
That's amazing. And now, I want to talk about the importance of collaboration, because working on any production, there's always going to be collaboration. Can you talk about how, the program helped foster the importance of collaboration and working with your peers?
That's for you.
I think that a lot of it was it made us work better with students and meet more students, because a lot of us stuck with the people we knew and the people we were friends with. But it helped us make friendships, and it helped us talk more and get out more and talk to our peers, and it helped us learn a little bit more about each other. And I think
100%.
That's amazing. Hearing this, I'm just I wish I had this. Because I think it's a really great way for just young people to meet other young people with positive mindsets and kind of similar goals.
That's
So
right.
it's a really amazing program. Now, I also want to talk about how Five4Five Films also supports English learners, special need learners, and just other students from underrepresented populations. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So some of our programs are geared towards Spanish speakers. So we have some bilingual staff members that go in. But I think more significantly is the fact that these can be skills that some students they're outside of the regular scope of like English, math, science, history types of classes. So we can get students who maybe a little timid, maybe a little shy behind the camera. All of a sudden they have this natural innate ability to be a cinematographer or an audio engineer, and they have that knack. So there's different skills that are offered for students that may not be on that straight and narrow path of like the general school curriculum.
Yeah.
Now, I also want to highlight the importance of representation. I know for the past couple of years when we talk about film, representation has always been at the forefront of like, are we moving forward? Are we going backwards? Can you just talk about, your approach to ensure inclusivity and engagement for all participants, and also when it comes to like the actual content that they create?
Yeah, a lot. First off, these stories are their stories. These, the narratives and everything are centered around things that are, relative to them, are relevant to them, really. And so, especially for us, like, a lot of our instructors are people of color, which we think is very important, to see us leading a classroom in speaking the language and, you know what I mean, and relating to them in ways that they feel they're able to be seen and heard, and to uplift them in a scenario where they're able to, collaborate and be heard and seen. And I think that's really important, honestly. I mean, like you said, like this is something that I feel I had in high school, you know what I mean? Just, the collaborative environment is something that I feel like is really important, especially for people of color.
Right, and to do it on this scale where it feels,
Yeah.
because I know when I was in high school, it was like, oh yeah, you could upload it to YouTube, or like, which is not bad. That's also a really amazing platform. But there's this sense of like what you're doing actually matters, and it's not like just a little thing that they make kids do. Like it is actually you're learning about the process of filmmaking, and you're doing so much more that could potentially lead you to have a career in this field. So I think it's so amazing. How can people watching, if they want to get their teens or their young people involved, what is the steps that they should take?
So thanks for asking that. We obviously have a website, 5for5films.com. You can email us there. We run programs in school, after school. We do a summer camp, and we host a film festival. And that's really to celebrate the work of our students, to your point, to see it on the big screen, a huge screen, in fact, in a state-of-the-art auditorium where it's like, where they have real Hollywood premieres on, in this space, and it's like the students will get to see their work on a screen like that. So that event is open to the community. I believe you have the info, but I'll just plug it. It's Thursday, June 13th. At 4 p.m. in West Harlem. All that info is on our website.
Yeah.
But so anyway, if anyone's interested, email us, contact us. We're always open to reaching new schools, new students, new opportunities to reach the youth.
All right. Well, I want to thank you all so much for joining me and sharing some of the work that you're doing to kind of just better our community and provide children with a safe space. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having
Thanks
us.
for having us.
For more information, you can visit their website at 5for5films.com and follow them on Instagram at 5for5_films. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Open right after this.